Hello, everybody out there in Twitchland. Hello, Blood Bowl fans. We are both kind of tired, understandably. It's a little bit later than normal. I was just casting the match that Shadorra was playing in the Minors Finals, where Shadorra won, spoilers, and is now the current Minors League champion.
Which means I will see someone in the playoffs. Probably not the low seed from REL 9D, but
No, it's you. You will face the top seed from.
no, it's the second seed. I think, like number 2 or number 3
No,
seed.
it's. I think it's number 1 from REL 5. There are 2 that come out of REL 5, and I think you play the winner of REL 5. Also, I really need a haircut. My hair is a bird right now. I am a bird. Look at this.
It's a really floofy bird.
I'm a bird. Ah!
Anyway, I fought monster stat freak dwarves and somehow won.
Yeah, so we're both a little tired because I was casting that with Herringzord on his channel. You should go check it out. Shadorra was playing it. So
It had a strength 5 dwarf, which was only half of their strength ups.
Yep.
What is life?
There are 4 strength ups on that team, and 2 of them are on the same dwarf. So shall we jump right into things, taking a look at week 12?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or coming up week 12. We've only got 2 weeks left, so getting close. I'm going to...
This is the last week I will be here, as a note. As I have mentioned a bunch of times on stream, I am headed to Japan on Saturday for 2 weeks, so Ben will maybe find someone to cover, maybe not.
I might just do it alone.
I do it alone.
At that point, everything will be
hope...
probably set in stone, so there won't be a whole lot to go over. But next week is also a game review, so maybe I'll see if I can steal somebody to come do it with me.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the regulars will happily hop on with you.
Yeah, so I'm going to make us small. And this is the schedule for next week, but I will bring it back one, and we can see what happened in the week that just occurred. This week is going to be taking a look at the teams rather than reviews. We'll try to be quick. We say that every time, and we never are, but we're going to try to, because both of us are really tired already.
Yeah, I apologize in advance for any stupid shit that I say. I am mentally exhausted.
I thought you were going to say something else.
What, drunk?
So week 11 in 9D, we had Armor Furnace and Drat's Rats. We predicted a win for Armor Furnace, and we were correct in a 2-1 victory for Armor Furnace over Drat's Rats.
Yep, 17 armor breaks to 2 tells the story of that one. 3 injuries, so. 5 KOs. Though it's worth noting, the Rats had 2 armor breaks, 2 injuries, and 1 kill. So, I mean, imagine one of those was a foul, but based on the fact that 3 is greater than 2. Yep. Oh no, but it counts armor breaks too.
Death floor.
Probably no. It's kills inflicted though.
I think it counts if they dodge away from you and they hurt themselves. Maybe, I don't know.
No,
that's a good question.
No, that's just happening.
Surf.
Is that
surf?
Is that a wizard?
Could be a surf.
Surfs don't count as armor breaks. That could be a surf. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, that's interesting. Brutal game for the Chaos. They sustained 2 injuries and a kill to 2 armor breaks, and they had an expulsion. So I imagine there was some fouling.
Yeah.
Great SPP though for the Chaos. Amazing. They again busted up the Rats real good, so no surprise there.
MVP on a beast doesn't level him or anything, but that's already a block tackle beast, so more SPP makes that he'll probably. Block tackle is interesting. We'll talk about that when we get to the teams. I think it probably might have been better to go Mighty Blow somewhere there. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to the teams. We have Average Rice Joes and the Cheeky Elves, and we predicted the Lizards would take this, and they did 1-0, which, if I recall correctly, means the Average Rice Joes are still undefeated in this division. They're not first, but they haven't lost yet. They've had a couple ties.
Yeah, and great SPP there on Asaurus, leveling him up. Very needed.
Almost levels him up a second time.
That's perfect, too, because then you can go Mighty Blow on that piece if you wanted to. I'm not advocating it necessarily, but I don't hate Mighty Blow on 12 out of 16 because that's just 2 Kazes from block. So
yeah, or another MVP.
Yeah, but it's worth noting. People often talk about Mighty Blow being the kill skill. Block is also a kill skill. It makes you kill people more. It's just not as flashy.
Well, it helps you knock over people more. It doesn't contribute to the kills. like indirectly. Like you have to knock them over to kill them. Yes, we were literally talking about this on your match earlier while we were talking about it. It helps you knock them over, but it doesn't necessarily directly increase armor breaks. It means you have more chances for armor breaks, but it doesn't make those armor breaks easier.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sadly, MVP on the loner lineman who you're not going to buy because he got movement busted.
Yeah, that really stings.
So that really hurts. Like if you get MVP on a loner, you probably just pick him up, but not when he's movement busted from the game. That's really
looks like the Lizards were doing a bit of fouling. They got an expulsion, 3 KOs and 2 injuries. They caused on Armor 8 versus.
Yeah, this looks like a game that was mostly in the favor of the Lizards for a large portion of the game. Cheeky Elves never really had the ball, at least not very often. I feel like that was pretty well controlled by the Lizards, and maybe they defended first and just defended for 8 turns, and then spent 8 turns scoring.
Could be. Okay, next up is
Goblins and Kislev.
So we predicted the Kislev would win, and they did.
3 for 3 so far.
I thought this had gone the other way, but
yeah, Goblins and Kislev. 2-1 for the Kislev. Did the Goblins do anything? They inflicted 3 injuries and 5 KOs, so Goblins doing Goblin things. In return, though, they suffered 2 injuries and a KO. Goblins falling over like Goblins are ought to do.
Yep. For once, the Fnatic did not get MVP, disappointing us all. Yeah, the Goblins really inflicted a lot of damage on the Kislev. Hopefully nothing permanent, or maybe hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, morally, High Elves can probably be the best passing elf team in the game, but it takes them way longer to get there than any other elf team does.
They also do their magnificent pitch control elves eventually. They're better than Dark Elves later, debatably. And but worse early on.
Yeah, it's the sort of Nurgle chaos thing, right? High Elves are amazing, but you need some development on them to make them better than the other elves.
So that helps.
Queen of Hearts picks up the MVP, the Goblin MVP instead of a Fnatic or Looney MVP for once for this Goblin team.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Lineman MVP. He already has Wrestle, so that should level him. So he'll probably pick up like Tackle or something if he's making him into like a sort of ball hawk type player if he's already got Wrestle.
Nope, he got Fend for some reason. Spoilers.
Fair enough. Some good SPP on both sides, honestly. A little bit more for the Kislev. He leaves for Japan on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. So he had to finish these games soon.
I mean, so I was running the minors playoffs because I'm a REBBL admin. And I was basically like, I also can't believe I survived that dwarf team. I basically was like, all right, chop everyone. We've got 3 rounds to play, and I'm going to try to force you to do it in 2 weeks. And they did. They actually played the entire thing a week and a half. The minors coaches are champs.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was a small playoff. There's only 8 teams because there's only 20 minors coaches. So it was a small playoffs, but we did get them all done really quick, which was nice.
Yeah, really good bunch of games. The minors experience in general.
Rip
really
my
great.
Team, though.
Yeah, rip your team real hard. If you didn't catch that, Morley, Steakmittens also played that dwarf team and got utterly annihilated.
I did not survive. Both my main killer and my main ball carrier died. Not like stat bust, dead. So that team is in rough shape. Moving on, we had Las Vegas Lizard Gizzards and Union United. This is our first incorrect thing, I think, here. We had a prediction for the Pro Elves, and it looks like the Lizards pulled it out. 2-1.
I'll be there in 2 seconds.
Oh, sure, that's fine. I will. 12 armor breaks versus 5, 2-1. MVP on the block plus movement skank, which is great, but he's still 1 SPP from leveling, so you're a little bit farther away from seeing if you can get something else nice to go along with that movement. Sprint or sure feet, probably. MVP on a lineman, which will level him, so we'll see what he gets later. 44 blocks, 25 blocks, 1 KO, 4 KOs, 1 injury, 1 kill, so Pro Elves being Pro Elves in that they crumpled, they took some damage, and they fell over.
God damn, that is a skink.
Yeah, he will certainly be a much better skink.
That skink is Rocks 2.0, just with different stats.
Yeah, it's like in a touchdown, he will probably pick up sprint unless he rolls something crazy, or maybe sure feet, and that's a really, really serious skink.
Yeah, Vulpus, I don't expect to have a great time in the playoffs, if I'm honest.
No.
We'll see, but it'll be fun, and I get the honor of being able to get wrecked. So,
yeah. So
honestly, if I have to rebuild this team, I wouldn't be incredibly sad. I would build them very differently. Really bad blocking dice for Union United, it must be said. They did not get a lot of armor breaks, and they did not have good dice to back it up. So
2-1 for the Lizards, very likely a 2-1 grind sort of situation, I would imagine. Buffkit Bills and Bomb Bye Week are bye weeks, so nothing happens there. Foul Targets and the Ladder Climbers is 1-0, but I believe that's an admin win. It is.
We called the Pro Elves to win that, so we were wrong. I'm sure you already did this.
Yeah, I did. And that was a bye week for the Foul Targets. And I believe it was also a bye week for the Redeemed Dark Elves, yeah. So we were correct there because we predicted those things. But it's also not really real because they were admin wins. So we'll be able to take a look at those teams when we get there. But I'll look at the leaderboard really quick. So we've got Foul Targets still up in first place at 9-1-1. Average Race Joes are actually within striking distance of this. It's possible. Like, Jeff is still in the top of the division, but if he loses his next 2 games and the Average Race Joes win their next 2 games, because there are 2 games left, it'll be a 9-1-2 and 9-4-0. So the 9-4-0 will actually be in first. So the Average Race Joes can win this division, but it requires the Foul Targets to lose both of their next 2 games. And Jeff is a pretty good coach. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at the schedule, so I haven't seen what those matches coming up are. But it's likely going to go to the Foul Targets, but there's a chance for Average Rice.
Oh, they played this week. That's a good game.
Well, there you go. That game matters a lot. So for Average Rice to have a chance to win the division, he has to beat Jeff this week. So that'll be an interesting. And next week we have to go over matches. So presumably
you have to.
Yes. Next week I'll be going over matches, so that's probably one that I'll want to take a look at if I don't stream it during the week in some other form. So shall we do the teams?
Yeah, let's go through it, and then we'll do our predictions. Or do you want? Yeah, I guess teams first.
Yeah, teams and then predictions, I would say. So Union United is first up. Quick draw. Pro Elves sitting at 1470 currently.
Yeah, it's a good-looking team. Two Blodge Blitzers. One of them has tackle. Blodge step. Tackle Blitzers are good, it turns out.
Yep, he's had those both for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, every time I see them, I'm still a little grumpy about it. I wouldn't hate something like diving tackle on the other one, just to make a really annoying piece to stick on balls.
Or hope for doubles.
Yes, the pass block catcher.
Yeah, we've seen him, and we talked about how it's neat and it's surprisingly good because of Nerves of Steel and Agi4 mostly. Because the Nerves of Steel helps with interceptions. And pass block allows you to move like before the interceptions and that kind of stuff. So it makes interceptions it's surprisingly good on catchers. It's not very good on most players, but on Pro Elf catchers, it's a skill that it's actually worth taking, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So I never remember what is new, but super standard stuff. Kick, a dodge lineman, a guard lineman, which is really nice. Plus Agi thrower is exactly what you want. I think we saw that last time.
Yep.
And a wrestle tackle lineman is a perfect disposable ball hawk. If you need to suicide someone into a cage or something like that on a risky 55% play.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to call an elf disposable, but
their linemen are pretty cheap.
Yeah,
60k linemen.
Yeah, so. They are the cheapest elf linemen. Was the next thing I was going to say. So they are really disposable. 2 skills puts them at 100k.
Yep. And as you'd expect from a good-looking team, 6-2-3, pretty good record. Next up is the Average Race Joes, who are, of course, the top lizards, 7-4-0 in second place. We were just talking about that a lot.
Yep, they are in striking range of making playoffs. They're going to have to win this next game for it to matter, and they're going to be out.
They're MNG'd, yeah. A block Mighty Blowsaurus. That is huge versus Wood Elves.
Yeah, that's a big deal. The downside is he has no tackle, which might make the Wood Elves a little rough, depending on how much dodge there is. We'll take a look. But the Mighty Blow against Armor 7 is big.
There's at least 2 blodge, I should say. Yeah, the Mighty Blow, still having the 1 Mighty Blow piece is nice. This is where I would
2 is
normally...
better.
Yes, 2 is better, definitely. Gives you a lot more attrition options. It's still not awful. He's got the good tools for dealing with Wood Elves.
On the one hand, missing the Mighty Blow is bad, but on the other hand, if you're going to be out a Saurus against any team, Wood Elves is a team that's probably fine. You don't really need the strength against Wood Elves.
No, you do need the ability to force them to roll dice though, and to get hits when they fail. So it isn't ideal.
If you had to choose an opponent to go up against while missing a Saurus, you'd probably rather pick like a Wood Elf team than like Orcs or something.
I'd probably pick Flings.
Okay, a reasonable team, one that you're likely to play against. The 2 diving tackle sidestep skinks are actually going to be huge in this matchup too. I think they'll be super annoying.
If they don't die.
That's a good point. They might die.
I mean, but you don't expect diving tackle sidestep skinks to last very long. They have a short shelf life, and that's fine.
Yep. And the one you want to keep alive is the block guy for carrying stuff.
And next up is Armor Furnace. Chaos team, been doing very, very well. Has a Claw Mighty Blow piece. Call Metal Eater appropriately.
And the killing begins.
It does. He is MNG'd on a Mighty Blow Beastman. Is it just an MNG? It is. Not super bad. Means you're slowing down the killer development, but you've already got another one in the wings in Pult Thunderhoof. You'd really like Lee Leeson to be on the field because he's only 3 SPP away from, that's a handoff away from having Claw Mighty Blow on a much more mobile piece than a Chaos Warrior.
Yep.
But still doing really well.
The Schlag Eats Carpet is block tackle. So you'd eventually he'll probably be a killer. He decided to take I imagine he took the tackle because he doesn't have it anywhere and he kind of wanted tackle for some matchup. If you're going to straight up have a ball hawk, you'd rather that block be wrestle. And if you're going to have a straight up killer, you probably want to start with Mighty Blow. But you have a bunch of other players that already have started with Mighty Blow. So I imagine that Eats Carpet will probably turn into a killer eventually, but he's starting with the block tackle first and then going to go Mighty Blow Claw rather than going the Mighty Blow Claw block tackle route that this more typical killer like Call Metal Eater will probably take.
Yeah, it's not unusual though. It's basically a blitzer that for when you need the target to go down. It's not quite a ball hawk as much as just for taking out dodge players.
It's not a ball hawk. He'll probably get one eventually, but it'll likely be a killer eventually. It's just going the slow route so that you can utilize the tackle as a pseudo ball hawk until he becomes a killer.
Yep, but he's got basically everything you want other than a Mighty Blow Claw Beast, which he's well on his way to having. He's got a mobile guard piece, an immovable object guard piece, a Mighty Blow Chaos Warrior, a Claw Mighty Blow Chaos Warrior. This is really good.
Yeah, the only thing is
4 rerolls
missing.
Is too many. Ditch a reroll. That's 60k. You're just sitting on for no real reason. Maybe
especially now that you have enough block.
Reroll greedy blocks, but I wouldn't keep it.
You don't need it now that you have 5 block on the team, really. It's okay to have it early until you start getting some block, but now that you have some, you don't need it.
Every week,
the only thing he's really missing is a dedicated ball carrier, right? He's got block that he can carry it on, but he doesn't have a sure hands or 2 heads or extra arms or something anywhere. There's no dedicated ball carrier yet. But he'll probably you want to build up the killer pieces really before you get that, because once you get that, he hogs all the touchdown SPP, as I know way too well. So he'll want to get one eventually, but it's fine that he doesn't have one for now while he's developing the other players. It's also easier to do on Chaos than something like Nurgle because you have lineman beastmen instead of only 4. So you can kind of afford to pick up block on all of them, and then if one of them happens to roll agi or something, or strength for that matter, or movement, you can make them you can then dedicate them to being a ball carrier.
Yeah, it's a good option.
So it's not bad that he doesn't have one now. It's just that's the only thing this team is missing, right? This team is if it had a ball carrier already a plus agi sure hands guy or whatever, this would be a terrifying, like, well developed chaos team. That's the only positional really that this team is missing, is what my point is there.
Yep. Then we have the cheeky elves. Unfortunately, their plus movement thrower is MNG'd. That's a big down for next game. And that's
the only thrower he has too.
Yep. But he's got the Polly the Pusher, still block, frenzy, sidestep, and Doug block, tackle. Pretty good.
Good blitzers.
Catcher movement 9 is now sprint and a push away from being in a very easy one-turner.
Yeah, that's a good catcher.
The Shadow Leggy still doesn't have shadowing, so I won't talk about him. Dirty player lineman. All right, he goes for the very foul.
Yeah, he's doing the fouling.
Lineman, wrestle and block. Yeah.
He's lost a couple linemen because there were other linemen. There was more than one wrestle lineman. He had like 3, and now he's down to 1. So I feel like the wrestle strategy isn't working out for him very well. But it's okay. He's starting to turn into a more normal elf team with the agi and the movement thrower and the movement catcher and that kind of stuff. It was a strategy that he went for. Doesn't look like it paid off super well, but it's just going to slow down his long-term development, I think. And
yeah, for sure. But still, good-looking team. Just needs to pick up a bit of positionals that have kind of fallen off. Yeah. I guess you've got all the positionals you want. You really just want to.
You want to level them. Well, the other thing is he's only 1050 TV, so he's going to get a boatload of inducements against literally any other team in this division.
I mean, he gets 2 rookies, so that's
that's true. How much are Wood Elf rookies? Or 70k?
You mean Pro Elves or 70k?
No, he's High Elves, yeah.
High Elves are 70k.
So he's 1190 then, which is still less than every other team other than the admin teams that don't count and the Kislev.
Yep, one of Wrestle Piece is pretty standard, yeah.
One is fine, but he had 3.
That's true, right? Because he was going for the foul heavy thing.
He had 3 wrestle pieces. They are no longer alive, it seems.
Next up, the Goblins, Atomics.
My favorite Goblins.
They actually get levels.
Yeah.
I don't see anything too new.
The Looney got dodge, which is new.
Oh, that's true. Looney dodge, super standard. If they live long enough to level, you generally just give them something to stay on their feet a bit longer.
Well, they only have agi access. Yeah.
Secret weapons, so.
They do have stunty, but they don't start with dodge.
They have stunty, but they don't get the bonus from stunty either, because anyone holding a secret weapon has all the negatives of stunty, but doesn't get the free tackle zone thing.
And you don't get SPP from Kaz's, so it takes them a while, and they have no hands. Or it's weird, and it's
they
hard.
Have hands. They don't have no hands. You can carry on a loony.
You just don't want to.
Yes.
So that it's hard for them to level, and when you do level them, the only skill you really care about that isn't, if you don't roll doubles, is just dodge, so they stay on their feet a little bit easier.
Yep. These goblins are double rolling machines, though. We've got 2 wrestle goblins. One of them is Agi 4, so good luck staying safe from that. 2 sidesteps. Both are MNG'd.
There's 4 sidesteps.
Not nickeled. Yeah, so I was talking about the 2 that were busted.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, sidestep is super standard. You either spam sidestep or you spam diving tackle. So
yeah, there's not a whole lot of
one, which again is a double.
Not a whole lot of skills you want on the goblins because they only have agi access. So there's not really many that are great on normals other than sidestep, sprint, dodge. You already have dodge, so
you're fine if you roll more than half of your level ups as doubles.
Yeah, guard goblin, and speaking of doubles, there's a block troll, but we've seen that before.
Nice looking goblin team because he just keeps throwing those sweet dubs.
It means that his team value is huge, though. It's a 1240 goblin team, so you might run into situations where you're not actually getting as many bribes as you'd like, which is not ideal, honestly. You really need to keep those secret weapons on the field as the goblins. It's really funny and I love it, but in an ideal world, it's actually it might be a good idea to drop some TV.
Yeah, for sure. I would start after the next game, depending on how the winnings went. I would consider dropping a bunch of the sidestep skinks or
goblins,
skinks, goblins, whatever.
Yeah, I mean the agi wrestle goblin, that's amazing, but that goblin is worth 110k. That's a bribe right there, man. That's 2 bribes.
I would keep that one.
Oh, I would keep it too. I'm just commenting on how expensive it is.
Yeah. I kind of wish Cheshire Cat had block instead of wrestle. That's a pretty good ball carrier with sure feet block. Not so much with wrestle, but
yeah. So yeah, like some people in chat are saying, it is a double-edged sword. Like it's good and it's fun, but like if you really want to win games as goblins, you might need to drop some TV. But also winning games as goblins.
Yep. Then we have redeemed dark elves, Moya, our favorite
assassins.
Dark elves. Yep.
Looks like we're missing some linemen.
Well, they got a bye last week, so I wonder if they fired them intentionally. They're missing all but their developed linemen, and they have 170k in the bank, so they might just be buying 2 linemen before the next game.
I think we might have talked about this the other week. I think that we saw that he had a bye coming up, and we're like, and a bunch of his dark elves were already injured, and we're like, we'll just fire them. Or that might have been another team though. I don't remember well.
If they're injured though, they can't get SPP. You have to take to the field to get SPP. So if you're MNG'd, you don't get SPP.
Well, I think it was like stat busted, not like MNG'd, right? So like it was just like just fire them. So we've got the standard witch, or that's not a witch, that's a blitzer. Jesus. I thought it was a witch because it's frenzy jump up, but nope, that's a blitzer who has gotten frenzy and jump up. So
build your own witch elf.
That's a build your own witch elf.
You can just buy witch elves, but
I don't know, because this one starts with block.
Yeah, I mean, Morley, you're not going to get up to 11, so I agree. Buying the witch makes more sense than buying. You're happy with dark elf linemen being loners; they're fine.
Yeah. Get a guard blitzer.
You've gotten to the point where you've got good development, so you really want to get a witch so that you can start leveling her. Like you need to get two touchdowns on her ASAP to get her block or wrestle to keep her alive, because otherwise they tend to die. Yeah, I mean, good development. The guard blitzer is super great, like you just said.
We'll get a diving tackle.
It's spicy for sure. No sidestep yet, but sidestep will be next, I assume.
Surprising lack of like blodge. Like a thing you normally see with dark elves is that they have 4 blitzers who are 6 SPP away from blodge. So that's the thing you see very often. But not in this case. There's only 1 blodge piece, but he's blodge and catch, so he's a good player to hand off to and score with and stuff.
For sure. Or pass to, for that matter. You don't see a ton of passing. Like handoff plays are much more
dark
standard for dark elves, but they do pass occasionally.
Wrestle lineman, tackle lineman, pretty normal stuff. The tackle is a little bit out of place. Not really. I mean, you see it sometimes, but normally with linemen you'll see like dodge or block or wrestle or something first.
Particularly with dark elves, you often see block spam.
Assassin who's had block for a million years, and there's been no development other than that on those assassins.
Yeah, well, it's hard to develop assassins.
Turns out.
Yeah. 6-4-3, pretty good record for someone who went a very unconventional dark elf start.
It's a very fun dark elf start.
Truth.
Las Vegas Lizard Gizzards, Leazar.
Oh, I thought I skipped him for some reason.
Nope.
How rude.
Mean.
Some very good skinks. Block plus movement, block, beautiful skinks. As we say every week, Saurus still kind of lacking. Block Mighty Blow is nice. Blodge is good, though again really slows your development down. I would take it, but it is definitely going to slow you down. Still, these 3 Saurus are pretty close. I think they've been close for a while though, so he really needs to focus on getting them some SPP.
Yeah.
And poor old Red Rock is just not getting anything.
Blodge Saurus are fine, but only if you have block first. Like you want block first for sure, and then like blodge is fine. Like in an ideal world, you get dodge like last after you've taken like block and mighty blow and stand firm and guard and whatever, and then be dodge because it slows down your development. But like blodge Sauruses are annoying because they're strength 4, armor 9, and hard to knock over.
And I mean, a Saurus dodge in a pinch is a 55%. You can do it with the dodge. Yeah, I wouldn't go break tackle morally. I like guard stand firm with blodge. I understand why you want to go break tackle, and maybe you do it afterwards, but
break tackle is really good with dodge.
It turns out blodge guard stand firm is a disgusting combination, and if you ever run into one of those, you'll understand as you pump like 4 blocks into it, it just stands there.
Yeah, especially when it's strength 4 and hard to like, so it's hard to get the blocks in the first place, and then it's hard to even knock them over.
Yeah. If you ever want to experience this, just induce Slibley and imagine he was twice as hard to knock over.
Yep. Yeah, so more Saurus development would be good. They're really close, so hopefully we'll see some.
Yeah, stand firm is really good on the big strength pieces because, yeah, it further disincentivizes red dies looking for a push because pushes aren't good enough anymore, or like freeing up people becomes a lot more of a struggle.
Yeah, on most big guys, it's worth it to take guard before stand firm, but in some cases, stand firm is better. And stand firm is like a pretty common second skill if you're not planning on taking break tackle or something.
Yep. So yeah, like starting to look good, but again, really needs to get some development on these Saurus. This team is very much focusing its SPP on these skinks.
Battle targets. Jeff, 1640 Wood Elves. These Wood Elves are in need of a trimming, I think. But they are currently top of the division with 9-1-1. We've got your standard strip ball tackle war dancer, gross. We've got an Agi 5 sidestep frenzy war dancer.
I don't like diving tackle on Saurus Vulpus simply because I don't like it. I wouldn't pick it up early, certainly. I mean, Saurus need to control the pitch, and you don't control the pitch from the ground, but it is useful to have. But I also know that I can put it on skinks with sidestep, which is almost as annoying, so I tend to avoid it.
Yeah, it's good. It's an option. People sometimes take it on like Chaos Warriors and stuff. You can take it on like Nurgle Warriors, but once again it's not great because once they're on the ground, they only have one movement when they stand up. But it's less bad on Sauruses because of movement 6. So even if they're on the ground, they can still get up and move somewhere. So it's certainly an option for Saurus, and some people do it.
Yep. I think Agi 5 War Dancers are just part of the team. I've never seen a Wood Elf team without one. So
yeah, I think it's just a thing that you get for free when you level up a War Dancer.
Yeah, it's easy.
Surfing War Dancer, Leap Frenzy is kind of fun for that.
It is, and there's nowhere you're safe from Agi 5, who doesn't care about tackle zones.
Yep.
So, scary piece.
You got a catcher who's got block sure feet.
Yep, super standard. Ball carrier / one-turner.
Receiver, really yeah. I mean, he can dump himself into the end zone and really, really far with sprint sure feet. He's got block and dodge to keep him on his feet, etc. And he's picked up a thrower. The thrower, yeah, has he had this thrower for a while? He's on for 5 matches, so not the whole time. Wood Elves will often not start with a thrower, but get one later once they've gotten some development elsewhere.
If your team looks like this, I don't mind buying the thrower, that's for sure.
Oh no, it's good.
Almost
good to
no attrition. He's got a bench of 1 as Wood Elves, and he's got 2 beautiful War Dancers and a very solid catcher.
Yeah, this team is pretty gross. The thrower is 1 SPP, so 1 pass away from leveling. So unless he rolls doubles, we'll probably just see accurate for Agi 4 accurate pass nonsense. Got a tree who's a Kaz away from leveling, which is not unreasonable. Although I think his next match is Lizards, so maybe unreasonable.
Mighty Blow is Mighty Blow.
Yeah, armor 9 though, and he's not hitting skinks with a tree unless the Lizards really screw something up.
It's happened. I've fed things like trees, skinks if I need them to like stay still for a minute. But it's not too hard with trees because you just try to knock them down and then walk away.
2 dodge, 2 block, and a kick lineman. There you go. That's what you want is Wood Elves. Target number 9, unless he's rolled something crazy, will probably just pick up dodge and be blodge.
Blodge is good.
And target 10 has nothing, but he's 1 SPP away from having something and having the whole team have either dodge or block. So you really want tackle going up against this team.
Yep. And then we have Rats.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams to skip over there.
Yep. They are 1,000 TB because they have taken a beating.
Yeah, their last game there was a lot of. They played Chaos last game, so
and they paid for it.
Nope.
Strength busted gutter runner. As he is a ball hawk, he is dead.
I mean, he's gonna uphill he's gonna uphill. Oh right, yeah, 1.
You're then
3 dying.
Red dying. Yeah.
No, he's glue, which is really sad because he's your only strip wrestle player now. So that's sad.
He's glue. At armor 7, Mighty Blow Storm Vermin is probably glue.
You play your next game, and if you can level up Shucks the Storm Vermin, just make glue because you want the Mighty Blow piece somewhere. And if you don't level Shucks next game, then you probably want it. But if you do level Shucks, just turn Awe into glue, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to fire Awe. Like, Armor 7 is not something that rats are foreign to as a concept, but you don't really want to be developing him. So
no, because he's more likely to die. He's a big target for the opponents because that's like your blitzer piece. And if anybody ends up stuck based to someone, it's probably a storm vermin, because they're the ones who are doing the blitzing and they're hitting people. And if it results in just like a push or whatever, they might be stuck. If anybody's getting hit on the rat team, it's often storm vermin. Block gutter runner for carrying the ball. We've got a big hand gutter runner for retrieving the ball in annoying tackle zones, which is super cool. He rolled doubles for mutations and opted for that. Some people will take horns first, but I think since he already had a ball carrier, or a ball hawk, he wanted to get a ball retrieval player, and then
two heads.
Well, two heads, horns, or big hands are all options depending on what you want that gutter runner to do. And he already has a ball carrier in the blodge one, and he already had a ball hawk in the strip ball wrestle one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he probably wanted the ball retrieval one, and then the ball hawk died. So that's unfortunate, and he's going to have to develop Woe or whatever one he buys new as a ball hawk. But sometimes it happens with Skaven.
Yeah, it's sensible. Then we have the Royalton Circus by Sir Willis III. Kislev replacement. Who is this? Only just an MNG. No niggles to be found today. It's good looking development so far. Kislev are really rough to start out with, but get real scary real fast. Catch, or rather a sure feet sprint dodge catcher. So
yeah, the catchers can become star players real fast if you get some levels into them, and that's a pretty good catcher.
It's even got dive and catch.
Well, they start with it.
I know. It's just
sure feet sprint dodge. So he's already movement 7, so now he's effectively movement 10. And he's got Agi 4 leaps, Agi 4 dodges with dodge. Pretty mobile player that you can get places, do annoying elf-like bullshit by leaping, grabbing the ball, scoring, that kind of nonsense. Blitzer has picked up block, so we finally have block somewhere on the team, which is useful to make them a bit more reliable. You need more, honestly, but blitzers are so expensive.
Yeah, it looks like he's been getting an unfortunate amount of lineman SPP, so he's probably going to be praying for some nicer MVPs. Because I think Ring Toss Randy is probably eaten 4. Nope, only 3. But still.
Two wrestle and 1 wrestle fend. Fend is interesting. I'm not sure what the rationale behind that is, but I don't really play Kislev very well.
I think you throw him on the line or somewhere you expect to be hit. Or
I think that's the survivable line fodder piece, I guess, in that wrestle fend.
He's really, really irritating to deal with because you can't really base him up efficiently, and your blocks are, not incredibly likely to knock him down.
No. And the lovely thing about Kislev is if you roll Agi, it doesn't matter who it's on because now they leap on a 2+, which is great.
Yep, always good. Looking good. Needs some blitzer level ups to get use out of that GSA access. But
shall we predict some things?
Oh, are we at that point already? Jeez.
For 9D, we still have another division to do.
Yep. Rats versus goblins. That's a game.
Yeah. So if the rats still had their ballhawk gutter runner, I would give this to rats. But the fact that they're out both one of their herdy pieces in the Mighty Blow player and the ballhawk means that there's going to be a bunch of armor 7 line rats up against the nonsense that is Here Goes Nothing's developed secret weapons.
Yeah, I gotta go.
This is dumb, but I'm gonna predict goblins again.
Yeah, I'm definitely going goblins.
So this is twice we predicted goblins to win.
The ball hawk, I'd feel better about it, but yeah, they have neither.
If he had that gutter runner, I would probably go for the rats because the goblins can't do anything about that. Right, they're carrying the ball on strength 2 most of the time anyway. So that's not only rats are used to just uphilling with gutter runners all day, and now they don't even have to. If he had that strip ball piece, I would give it to the rats. But without it, I think the goblins are going to get a good amount of removals of their secret weapons in half number 1, and then the rats won't be able to do anything.
Yep. And then we have Lizards, Leazar, versus the High Elves. The High Elves are down their star thrower, but they do have an Agi 5 lineman who is a good pseudo thrower, I guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't have pass, but he does have Agi 5.
This is the Lizard team that is missing some Saurus development.
Yes. So This is going to be a bit tough to predict. I think this is a pretty even call.
Yeah.
I kind of want to give it to the elves, though. Fouls, they're built to foul, and fouls against lizards are incredibly effective. They've got a nice tackle blitzer for taking care of skinks. Yeah, I think I want to give this to the cheeky elves.
Yeah, I was going to say there isn't a whole lot. There isn't any tackle on the lizards, but there also isn't really a whole lot of dodge on the high elf team.
Well, you want to predict the lizards, and we'll call this a contested one?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You must choose.
I know I must choose. I think I'm going to give this to the high elves too.
Okay, and then we have a Chaos Bye.
Yep. The big match of the week is foul targets and the average race Joes. Average race Joes have to win this if they want a chance at playoffs. They cannot draw. Draw will not be good enough. They need to win this in order to make their playoff dreams a reality.
Yep.
Although, again, no tackle. There's 2 diving tackles, which are going to be annoying, but we've seen how gross this Wood Elf team is, and without like some tackle somewhere or something to deal with that, I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest problem is that target number 1 looks, or even, I mean, target number 2, for God's sake, it doesn't need the, he doesn't need the strip ball tackle, really. I mean, it's good, but it's not necessary. Just looks at your skinks and goes, your ball, my ball, and takes it from you.
Yeah, none of the skinks have, there's no sure hands anywhere.
You have to double cage to make it difficult for the Wood Elves to get in there, and the Agi 5 laughs at your double cage, so you're going to have a lot of problems holding on to the ball.
And then if you're double caging, you're probably doing that with Saurus, and then you're not hitting elves with as many Saurus, and you're not going to go up numbers. It's rough. I mean, I think it's possible for the lizards to win.
And you're down a Mighty Blowsaurus.
Although he's down TV, right? How much is he down? Like 210k?
I think he doesn't have... Oh, does he have a bench? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, he doesn't have... So he is actually down 200.
And he's down 260 because he has 50k to spend too. The lizards have... and so do the Wood Elves. Both sides have about 50k-ish to spend.
The Wood Elves don't have any money to spend.
Yeah, they do.
Or the lizards, rather. You're looking at the wrong lizards.
Am I?
Probably. So the lizard men have... Oh, so they currently have 1,400, but versus 1,640, but the Wood Elves are going to drop 60k of this, so they only get 180k, so that's probably a wizard.
They're also going to pick up 20, though, because there's a pending level up on a lineman, unless you're doubles or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's still probably just a wizard. Maybe you scum a babe, but, like...
It's not enough for silly Slibbly.
Slibbly's worthless, anyway, in this matchup.
Yeah,
I mean, guard isn't worthless.
You could take the Hemlock, take the Stab Skink.
I would consider taking Hemlock, is what I was about to say before you started frantically screaming.
Because it's exciting. Stab Skink.
I mean, Stab Skink and also just block, jump up Skink. Like, Hemlock is a pretty serious one. You'd have to protect him from the Wood Elves because they do have enough tackle to take him out. But I don't hate Hemlock here. I don't know what Average Rice thinks, but...
yeah, I don't hate it either. It's not... Like, I think the smart... If I was forced to like bet money on this game, I would probably go with the foul target, so I guess that's what I'll do here. I would like the average race Joes to win, honestly. Sorry, Jeff, but I think it's more exciting if the playoff race is tight.
Agreed.
So I'm gonna go with Jeff, but I think I want average race Joes to win, and I think it's possible. Certainly, there's ways that he can deal with this. It's not totally unreasonable, but I think it's in Jeff's favor.
Yep. And then there is the Stabby Dark Elves versus Kislev.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Dark Elves have some loners, but they don't care about that. The Kislev have they have some speed, and they have some like annoying diving tackle and stuff. But the Dark Elves are gonna outbash them pretty seriously, I think. There's a lot of block on the Dark Elf side that the Kislev don't have.
Yes. And the Kislev can, or the Dark Elves can more easily screen off and get a... you would be tied for points. The first tiebreaker is touchdown differential, I believe.
Yeah, so if you beat Jeff, he would be ahead Oh no, because you'd have not yeah, you would be tied in terms of points. But the first tiebreaker is touchdown differential. So if you beat him, you end up tied, and then so you'll need to either win. He'll either need to lose and you draw your last game, or he'll need to like draw and you win, or you'll need to both need to win, but you'll need to win by more than he does in order to have a bigger touchdown differential. I don't know what the touchdown differentials are now. I'm too lazy to look at them, honestly.
What else usually?
But yeah, the first tiebreaker is touchdown differential. So even if you beat him, it doesn't necessarily put you in first. But it puts you have to beat him to have a chance of going to playoffs. If you beat him, it means your last match will be also critical for it, and so will his. So we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes, certainly.
Yep. And I think, like you were saying, I like Dark Elves in the Kislev matchup. The Kislev don't have the killing skills they would need to. Like if their blitzers had more killing skills, they'd be in a better place. But right now, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, you're gonna get outbashed by the elves, and the elves also have like the ability, the agility, and the speed to mostly keep up with you. So I think I'm gonna give that to Dark Elves.
Yep, though diving tackle might do a thing. There's a lot of diving tackle, and it's on some annoying players. So Voodoo is an admin for Union United, so the Pro Elves get a bye.
And last week is also a bye because it is 2 bye teams.
Is the Ladder Climbers quit?
I believe so. Their match last week was,
I didn't. We didn't talk about them, so they must have.
Yeah. Their match last week was admins in favor of foul targets.
Or quit. So, all right then.
Foul targets last game is against Goblins, and the Average Race Joe's last game is a bye. So
both are likely to win. I mean. So I think
you have to win this game, and you have to win it by a lot.
Well, we'd have to go in to look at the touchdown differential. Let's do that real quick.
I'm not even sure how to do that. You have to look at the teams, right?
You can't just look at their stat page, though. And I'm not positive if REL counts admin wins. I think they do.
Yeah, I mean, so the Jeff, if you beat. Like it's if you beat Jeff this week, you will finish at 9-4-0, which is what you need to finish at to win. And if you beat Jeff this week, Jeff will be at 9-1-1 going into, or 9-1-2 going into a Goblin game. So if you beat Jeff and Jeff loses to the Goblins, you go to the playoffs. If you beat Jeff and Jeff beats the Goblins, you have to beat Jeff by enough that your touchdown differential is higher than his to go to the playoffs. So you, like, step 1, beat Jeff. If you beat Jeff, you have a chance. If not, you don't.
It looks like Jeff's TD touchdown differential is 14, which is pretty serious, but expected from what else?
You look at the league manager thing, as was suggested. Probably the easiest way to do it. 9D. So foul targets touchdown differential is this one shows that as 20 or 15. Yeah, an average race shows
14, but
an average race shows is 10. So even if you beat Jeff, you'll have to beat him by 6-0 to go ahead of him in this week.
But if you beat Jeff and Jeff loses to the Goblins, which is admittedly unlikely, or even draws the Goblins, then you automatically go.
Yep. So you need to beat Jeff. It doesn't really matter by how much because you're not going to beat him 6-0. That's not really feasible. And you need to, and then you need to hope he loses to the Goblins. Is basically how you make it.
You need to kill him so badly that the Goblins just walk all over.
Go up 1-0 and then murder the crap out of some elves.
Yep.
All right.
So let's move on to 9E.
9E, shall we? So schedule. Week 11.
My week already got processed. That's neat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a little weird. So I wish head-to-head was the first tiebreaker too. It seems strange to me that it's not, because it's head-to-head in a lot of other game tournament style games.
I think they're trying to reward like overall good season play instead of having one game throw your.
That's true.
I get what they're going for. It's more about your performance around the entire season than like like if you have one game versus your rival and you just like either you throw it because you're not feeling well or like the dice just don't love you, then it's frustrating to automatically lose that tiebreaker, even though you like maybe you shined really brightly for the rest of the season. So I think they're just trying to make it so that the first indicator is how well you did in the season as a whole, but it definitely favors agi teams. So
yeah, with Blood Bowl it's a little different. Like if it's something like StarCraft or whatever, where the matchup is literally 100% skill and there's no luck involved whatsoever, then head-to-head as a tiebreaker makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying Blood Bowl is a luck game, but there are dice involved. Sometimes dice do things, you know. So trying to like basing the entire tiebreaker off one game, I think, is what they're trying to avoid. There's advantages and disadvantages to both sides, and we're not going to argue it here. But that's how REL does things, or REBBL does things. So.
Yep, we are not admins there. So first up, we have the Lizards versus Underworld. This is the Underworld that was missing their troll and any good players they had, and we predicted the Lizards would have a good game.
And they did.
And they did. They won 4-0.
The plus strength Saurus, which I don't remember, so that might be new, has also gotten MVP and picked up block. So that's Dr. Robert 2.0 in the making.
He's got a ways to go, but yes. He did have the plus strength Saurus last night.
Okay. But yeah,
Skaven lineman, which is a positional for this team, got MVP and has block. Oh, he already had block, I think.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, 61 blocks for the Lizards, 4 KOs, 6 injuries, and a kill is going to cause a 4-0 game and a crap load of SPP for the Lizards, and that's what happened.
Yep, they got 11, 17, 23, 27, 29, nearly a 30 SPP game for Vulpus and Kulta.
Yeah, well played. Well played. Sierra Boys Giant Stags and had a bye, so that's that. Bretonians and Morally with Friendship is Massacre. We didn't curse him this time. We predicted a Morally win, and we were rewarded with a Morally win. We've only been wrong once so far this week, right? That's not bad. That's a good record.
Yeah.
Good record for us. But Morally, we didn't curse him, and he won 2-0 over the Knights of Windrip. Looks like he had control of the game for the most part. 75% ball possession, like double the amount of blocks, basically. Not quite, but...
Ooh, but the Knights of Windrip have a plus strength. Did they already have that? I think so, because I remember making fun of Gerald the Big being a plus strength.
4 injuries and 1 kill. So that's, speaking of SPP, 11, 12, 13, 15, 19 SPP. And I remember Apple Jackhammer is a mummy, so it's 4 SPP on a mummy, which is a big deal too.
Yeah, 2 Kazs is really nice.
Yeah, so that's a good result. We predicted that, but it's a good result, especially with all the SPP that came out of it for Morally.
Yep, and then One Cheese, Rex Longbone, the previous leaderboard, the top spot on the leaderboard, lost to the Khemri.
Ooh, and you know who predicted the Khemri were going to win?
You did.
And you know who didn't predict the Khemri were going to win?
Me.
Oh, so who's right there? I think it's me. I actually saw them talk about this game a little bit. I think Broken Boys, Shazzlebob was mentioning it in the Reddit thread for the post that you made for last week's. He was talking about it. And the Blitzraz like kind of ran roughshod over some rats, if I recall correctly.
There are 4 injuries inflicted and 2 kills. So the One Cheese, I think, got the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, that's a pretty serious fall from grace for One Cheese. Like, because of the results of that game and the game against the Orcs, that drops him out of playoff contention, as far as I know. Like, I don't think he can actually win the division anymore, and he was the favorite for the whole season.
Yeah, I wonder if the 58% rat dodge success rather tells the story there. It might.
It might. There's a lot of there's some tackle, but not a lot. What did the dice look like? I mean, they looked mostly spread out fairly normally, it seems, for One Cheese.
Even dice distribution does not a fair dice game make.
That's true, but it's a quick indicator sometimes. I think the big story is 4 KOs, 4 injuries, 2 kills, right? That's
Blitzraws, Mighty Blow tackle Blitzraws are rat murdering machines.
That is 10, like, quote, 10 removals. Like, those KOs could have been the same players or whatever, because they could have come back, but still, like, removing 10 players over the course of a game, whether they come back or not, is enormous.
Yep, for sure.
So I think that's how it went in the Broken Boys' favors. The Blitzraws did work, and One Cheese was not able to recover from it. I'm pretty sure it means that the Rex Longbone is actually out of contention now, because the Orcs and the Lizards still have buys left or something. We'll check that out in a second when we get to the predictions later. But I was looking at it earlier today, and I'm pretty sure it means One Cheese is just out of contention, which is it's interesting, because he was in the lead for so long, but also he hadn't played in the other sort of rival top 3 teams or so until recently. So it looks like he ran into them, and it didn't go so well for him.
Yep, and then we have Desnot Knockers versus Liverpool, which do you know who you predicted would win, Ben? Dwarf. Do you know who I predicted would win?
Tie.
Yes.
So you're
I'm
also
more
wrong.
right than you.
I'm
less wrong.
You're still wrong though.
No, but I'm
wrong.
I'm,
wrong is a binary state. You're right or you're
wrong. As you. That's not true.
So hey, I'm still in the lead then, because if even if you argue for half is wrong, I was right and you were totally wrong for the previous match. So I'm 0.5 ahead of you if you're going to argue.
On my sheet, there's a big X next to your name and a tiny X next to mine. So
I'm still 0.5 ahead if that's how if you're going to argue for the half right. I'm still winning.
So I didn't actually write down who we declared would win versus the Dark Elves and Necro. I think I said something random when we put up the video.
Because I put up what you copied me.
Yeah, I know, but my sheet just has their names written and nothing is underlined, so I don't remember what we actually said would happen here. But it was a tie, which I don't think we predicted. So,
yeah, in the video description, I have it being Dark Elves, but I just trusted you on blind faith that you wrote down what we said. So if you didn't actually write it down, then I suppose we both have to be wrong.
So apparently, Razor Sharp lost to a 6+ Orc Pass,
which
I think is as close to being right as I could possibly be. It was a 6+ Orc Pass.
You know what, though? You are still wrong.
I know. Stings.
So it's a tie between the Chew Toys.
Champion, unlike you. So
that's true. Chew Toys and Negaron Nut Punchers. 1-1. We were not sure what the actual prediction was because we didn't write it down, apparently. But it came out as a tie. 3 KOs and 4 injuries on behalf of the Chew Toys, though. And if I recall correctly, the Negro Nut Punchers already had some damage taken, so they might
they're the battered.
They might look a little extra battered when we get to them.
Depends on what kind of injuries they were. Could have just been badly hurts.
Yeah.
We didn't look at Desnot Knockers versus Liverpool. We didn't look at the actual match report. Injured Troll Slayer. Now he's fine. So 2 rookies getting MVP. Nothing exciting there.
2 KOs, 2 injuries. 5 KOs, 2 injuries.
Nothing too exciting.
No, looks like a pretty typical Orc Dwarf match where they punched each other a bunch and eventually somebody broke free and happened to roll the dice required to win the game.
Mighty Blow Block Wolves are scary morally, but I think the team I'm going to be facing in the playoffs has 2 Claw Palm Wolves, 2 of them.
So. Two Blodge Claw Palm Wolves.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, Dr. Robert will do work, I guess.
Archangel's Will had a bye.
That's that. So we can go into the teams.
I want to look at the leaderboard real quick, but we'll check it out at the end. Right now, there's Komodo Killas, Desnot Nakas, Broken Boys, and One Cheese all sort of up there at the top. But considering Komodo Killas and Desnot Nakas haven't lost anything, and the Orcs have some buys coming up, I think it's one of those 2 teams that is going to make it. So Archangel's Will is the first team up on the list. Archangel himself coaching Archangel's Will.
Yep. And yeah, as we say every week, really, really solid team. The Nerves of Steel.
There isn't an Agi War Dancer here.
There isn't, but he does have a Mighty Blow War Dancer, which I think is the consolation prize.
That's true.
So he's got a War Dancer for blitzing and removing pieces and a War Dancer for taking your ball away. He also has a plus movement catcher, which is a nearly natural 1-turner. Very easy 1-turns, and I think or was it, I can't remember if it was CR Boys or Archangel in that matchup that really loved doing one turns. I think it was actually CR Boys, but Archangel has a really good piece for that as well.
Yeah, and the Nerves of Steel block also helps out a lot with the pass sort of plays, which he can do with an accurate thrower. Because with the super movement, he can move to pretty much any spot in your backfield as he wants. With the blodge, he's hard to knock over, and then even if you mark him up, he's got Nerves of Steel to make it so that he still catches the ball on a 2+ because catcher. So that's a pretty scary catcher for passing plays.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got rookie catcher, but Wood Elves lose catchers sometimes. When you dump catchers into the backfield, sometimes they die. And we've got a wrestle catcher for being super movement and very annoying when the War Dancer doesn't have the option to do so.
Yep. A niggled guard lineman is a problem.
Yeah, you keep him though. You have to. Like he's a massive target now because he's A, guard, B, armor 7, and C, niggled. Like he's going to get punched every turn. But guard makes such a big difference to the Wood Elves. I think you have to.
Niggle is so bad.
I think you have to keep it until he dies. He just loses Apo rights, and you keep him until he dies. Because until he dies, you can take advantage of guard, and guard is so good, especially on elf teams.
Yeah. I had this discussion with Zork, and I actually thought I thought your opinion was right, and Zork convinced me that I was wrong. That niggle is a fire. But anyway,
I mean, niggle is often a fire. If it was any skill, literally any skill other than guard, it would be a fire. But I think guard is just so good on Wood Elf teams. You abuse it until it gets fired for you.
All right, I'm in the minority. It's fine. Hold on to him for 2 more games, and then he will explode on his own accord.
He'll die eventually.
Lineman levels up, probably gets block or dodge. Dodge. Nothing too exciting there, but good-looking team.
Chew toys. Apparently, they're becoming scary, and that they are.
So they have no wolves.
Not for their next game. That's a little sad.
One is dead, and the Mighty Blow one is niggled. No, just MNG'd.
It's a really good wolf. Block Mighty Blow, but being out him for like that's your big strength as Necro is the werewolves essentially. Like that's why you play Necro over Undead. But he's not going to have any wolves for his upcoming game. So that's a little unfortunate. But Bork is a really good werewolf. He can buy a new one, and he probably will, I would imagine.
Rookie werewolves are not the most exciting thing on the planet.
No, you need to get them some development. But if you're not having any werewolves, you can score on the rookie werewolf at least in your next game.
Yep. And he also only has 2 rerolls. Werewolves are notoriously unreliable because of frenzy. So, I mean, you probably just use him as a safe ball carrier, or maybe carry on the blodge coffin splitter and then pass off to the werewolves to get some SVP on him. The Strength 5 Flesh Golem is really nice. Doesn't do a lot right now, but
well, they have a big guy now. Normally they don't have a big guy. Now they do.
It's true. In a level or 2, once he gets block guard, he will be a excellent big guy. So
yeah, that's the strength is big. You'd like to have it a bit later, but it's impossible to say no to strength, especially on a Flesh Golem.
I'd be tempted to skip it, Sierra Boy, simply because he doesn't have rerolls, and rerolls are very expensive. As Necro, I would just suck this game up because you're not in playoff contention anyway. You care more about the development of your team. I would get a reroll first and then work on getting the positionals. But
the other argument there, I guess, is that the match doesn't matter, so you can get a rookie werewolf and focus on trying to level him rather than winning.
Yeah, well, when he dies on a 1 and 9 and you have no rerolls left, don't come crying to me.
I don't use rerolls anyway.
I mean, apparently I don't either. I think I ended the first half of my playoff game with 3. I mean, I didn't fail anything either, which is, helpful. I could have used them, though, I'm sure, for greedy things.
2 Mighty Blow Whites, pretty standard.
No, Mighty Blow first is, you maybe do it as a one-of on Necro. Guard is normally an early pickup simply because Necro take a little while to get guard because Flesh Golems are slow to level, and you want to get block on them first anyway.
It's either really guard or Mighty Blow. But yeah, guard is probably what I would take first. But guard or Mighty Blow is pretty normal, I think.
Yes. Double Mighty Blow is a bit unconventional, a bit greedy, maybe.
Yeah, especially since he doesn't have tackle. Like I would have considered tackle maybe on Jock instead of Mighty Blow, but it's also the leveling play, right? You can give up on trying to like optimize your team for winning and optimize it for leveling them up a bit faster, so maybe they're better later, which may be what he decided to do there. Got a Blodge Ghoul for ball carrying / the werewolves also for ball carrying because there's only one ghoul. There's a block kick zombie, which is interesting. He leveled up a second time, so what else do you give a kick zombie? So you're not gonna, I mean, dirty player maybe, but you probably also want to keep the kick around.
Dirty player kick is a common combination, just because you don't really care if it gets sent off after it's done its job and you've kicked. But it's not bad.
He has a dirty player in Bone Deadly, but more dirty player, more better. We've got an Agi 1 zombie. Sure.
Not a big deal, but you might fire him eventually.
It depends on if you need to trim TV for a game or something, you just fire him because who cares. And a block zombie, which is, pretty standard as well. Just a zombie who's going to be even more annoying than a normal zombie because now he has block.
Yep. And then there is Hogstench, the
current front runner.
Well, they're tied with Vulpes, but as we said, I think Hogstench gets a bye next.
I think he has 2 buys.
We can talk about this more later. He has 2 buys, so he is the likely winner unless Vulpes can pull out 2 wins and is winning in TD differential, which I expect he is. Who is Vulpes playing?
Vulpes currently has a TD differential of 14, and Does Not Knock Us have a TD differential of 12. So Vulpes is winning by 2 TDs.
Though if he doesn't, so Vulpes has to win, and if Vulpes wins, he will take the top spot because the buys mean that Hogstench is only going to have a TD differential of 14 ending, and you can't win games and not have plus TD differential. So Vulpes will, if Vulpes wins, he will win the division.
Yep. So we've got two some pretty good Blitzer development. This is block, tackle, mighty blow, block, tackle, mighty blow, jump up, block, mighty blow, piling on, block. And that's really standard Blitzer stuff, especially since he's taken guard on the Black Orcs. You do block on the Black Orcs and guard on the Blitzers, or guard on the Black Orcs and kill skills on the Blitzers. And he's got 3 killers who are like, if you could mix and match some of these skills.
Have 3 tackle? Oh yeah, he lost a Blitzer.
He did.
He used to have 3 tackle, as we will recall.
He did. That is a new Blitzer. But he's got, if you could mix and match these skills a little bit, it would be even more ideal. Like take that jump up and put it on the piling on guy. But he's got 3 players who are like 1 skill away from super orc killers, like about as killy as you can get as orcs. So that's really nice. Thrower has picked up block, so he's a little less useless. And 3 of 4 Black Orcs have leveled and gotten guard. So that's it's a nice lean orc team. Like those are the skills you want, and they're on the right players. You don't have any unnecessary stuff. Yeah, but
Blitzers are really hogging the SPP.
That's who cares. Like 3 of the 4 Black Orcs have guard. That's basically all you care about. You'd like them to get block at some point. The linemen have nothing, which you don't care about. Orc linemen are there to be on the line and die. So looks good.
I just would like to see a bit more standing power with the Black Orcs with block, but you can't have everything. These are very nice Blitzers, and they will do very well against...
Yep.
Oh wait, no, he's just getting buys. I would fire these 3 linemen. No, I'd keep the 5 SPP one. That's actually tough.
It doesn't. You can't guarantee that. I mean, you might as well just keep them. Probably. Like honestly, lineman levels aren't terrible, especially if you have a chance of rolling doubles and getting like strength or something.
But, I mean, the problem with lineman levels is then you have no one to throw on the line.
Man, it's fine. You still throw them on the line. You can also start throwing Black Orcs on the line, especially once you have 3 guard. Black Orcs is a pain to deal with.
It's true.
You can do that too.
Anyway, good looking stuff. These next buys are gonna really make that team come together.
So One Cheese getting wrecked by the Khemri is something that certainly happened, as One Cheese has 8 players currently.
Thankfully, they weren't his good players. He lost only line fodder, it would seem.
Yeah.
But he did lose. I mean, if you count a movement busted line rat as dead, which you shouldn't, I think it's probably fine. He did lose. He did take 1 perm and 2 deaths. So
yeah. The Storm Vermin look good. 2 tackle, or 2 mighty blow. Sorry, 1 has tackle.
You wish that tackle was claw, but you can't have everything.
Yeah, that's the skill you take. You take Mighty Blow first, and if you don't roll doubles next, you can take tackle, and then you try doubles again. And if you don't, you'd probably take like guard or something, or maybe piling on. And if you still don't doubles, maybe you start over.
Yep. But still, pretty good-looking team. He's got the tools he needs to deal with the lizards.
Yep.
The Mighty Blow tackle piece is going to eat skinks alive if he lets them get to them. And if not, the gutter runners are happy to chase them down as well.
And critically, he's got the sort of 2 gutter runners you want. He's got the one to carry the ball with Blodge Step, and he's got the one to steal the ball with Wrestle Strip. So,
and Vulpus does not have any tackle, I don't think. So
that's he's lost a lot of rats.
He's a Mighty Blow player. So.
Yeah. He's lost a lot of rats, but he at least has for the most part, he has the rats that matter. So
he does. Who cares about line rats? Their job is to die, and they did it well. The only thing that could be a factor is with some lucky pows or good hits on the Storm Vermin, the Mighty Blow that the lizards have is going to cause some attrition. So that's what Vulpus is probably going to do. Force the rats to roll dice, get in their face a lot, and try to get as many blocks as possible to get that attrition rolling as early as possible. Once the line rats start going down to failed dodges to Mighty Blow hits, it's easier for the lizards to get the hit on the positionals they need, because once that screen is gone, there's nothing to stop movement 6 from doing movement 6 things.
Yep. The scary part for the lizards, though, is that I don't know how much tackle they have, and that the gutter runners are really scary against skinks, right? Like, it's wrestle strip ball. Skinks are not likely to have block or sure hands. So the gutter runners are pretty scary to face as lizards sometimes.
Yep, but not as scary as War Dancers, and he does have a block guard Croxagore, so like he's saying in chat, he's just going to throw like the big strength guys onto the blitzers and try to tie them up that way. Prehensile Tail is a skill.
It is?
Anyway,
Sometimes.
We are getting ahead of ourselves. Rex Longbone, his team's looking real good. Like we said, doesn't really matter if you lose line rats. Still a really solid team. Doesn't have claw or any doubles on his gutter runners yet, but that's just a little bit of bad luck. Hopefully he'll get some moving forward.
Sierra Boys, Giant Stags, another Wood Elf team. This one doesn't have an Agi 5 War Dancer, so it's terrible. This team is awful. Let's move on. Oh wait, never mind.
He does have an AV busted tackle War Dancer, which is stings a bit.
It does.
Do you fire that? Probably not.
Not until you can have another one. I mean, like, War Dancers are like okay to recycle generally because they're probably the best player in the game. Like right out of the box, like and out of any rookie player, the best rookie player is probably a War Dancer with Blodge, Leap. But you really want 2 of them, and if you can afford to have another one, if you can afford to replace him, I think it's probably fine to do so. But until you can afford to replace him, don't. Like, you need to.
Yep. And then we have, the Niggled plus Agi plus Movement Wrestle Catcher is terrifying to face and terrifying to have anyone hit, certainly.
Yeah, once again, the Niggle is terrifying. But that's a good player that you want to hold on to until the Niggle catches up with you. Like, Agi 5 is gross. Movement 9 Sprint is gross. Wrestle helps, like, Agi 5 and Movement 9. The Wrestle helps out a lot.
And like they said, a block tree. So while your War Dancers are wimpy by comparison, I don't think you have any right to complain.
No, the team still looks good. Like, that War Dancer is 1 SPP away from tackle.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the skill. Apparently, I'm starting to get tired. He's already got Strip Ball, which is good, and he's 1 SPP away from tackle, so that's kind of like the really good ball stripping War Dancer that you want. So you're close to that.
Yeah. Someone once tried to convince me, CR boys, that you don't take block on trees because you can both down your way out of a root that way. They were wrong, but they did try to convince me.
No, as someone who played a bunch of halflings in a recent one-day tournament and induced Deeproot Strong Branch every game, block trees are so good.
Does he block? Jesus.
Deeproot Strong Branch? Yeah, he's strength 7 in block. And he also doesn't have Take Root.
I mean, he's gross. He doesn't count.
I mean, yeah, that's...
Is
I mean,
he
that's
2 still?
Yeah, that's why you take halflings. That's like literally why you play halflings, though, is to be able to induce Deeproot Strong Branch. He's the like.
Anyway, moving on to Vulpes and Kulta.
Do we finish? There's two agi. There's two agi. There's an agi lineman who we didn't mention who's also really useful.
I missed the other agi place. Yes, his team is very good.
There's a blodge step catcher as well, along with the agi one, which is another good piece. And then there's the skills that you care about on lineman, dodge, and a kick piece. So like the players, you're missing a few players, and you'd like a little bit more development on the War Dancer, and you'd like to have a not niggled War Dancer. But the players that you do have are good. So going forward, it should be fine.
Yep. And I mean, War Dancers like stumble into TD touchdowns accidentally all the time anyway, so they'll level on their own.
Yeah, and worst case, like we said, rookie War Dancers are literally the best rookie players in the game. So you're not too sad if you have to recycle one who only has one skill, because that's one game basically from getting a skill, and they're already good just out of the box.
Yep, and then there's Friendship is Massacre down at 1290 TV. Why is he so low?
We missed Komodo Killers.
Oh, I like wanted to start talking about them, and then you interrupted me. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not talking about Vulpes' team.
Bloxagor.
Yep, Bloxagor. That's not new, but the block plus strength sources. I think he had plus strength last time we looked at him, but now he has block. Makes him a hell of a lot better. It's a Croxagor without a nega trait, and doesn't quite have Mighty Blow or Prehensile Tail, but.
Well, yeah. Next, you pick up Mighty Blow or Tackle.
No. I think, given that you have Strength 5 at this point,
maybe
you
break
build
tackle?
him as a guard piece. I would go guard, then maybe break tackle. I think building him as a killer is a bit of a mistake. Saurus don't need a Strength 5 killer. Like, it's fun, but like just imagine a Strength 5 guard piece on the line. Like, oh, maybe a line dwarf that is Strength 5 and block and guard. Like, those pieces are incredibly annoying to deal with and really pin down the line, which is exactly what lizards need. They need more pitch control tools, and the Strength 5 guard piece is amazing. That's
true. Break tackle and guard are both good. I think I would go guard first, because like break tackle helps him get places better, especially really reliably with Strength 5. But you don't. If he also has guard, getting him to those places matters a lot more. So I think guard first.
Now, when Dr. Robert levels, he's probably going to get break tackle because he already has Mighty Blow tackle, and I like spicy memes, so he's going.
Well, yeah, he also rolled strength after he had Mighty Blow and tackle, right?
No, he
rolled it after Mighty Blow, but before tackle.
After Mighty Blow block, yeah.
Yeah. Some two blocks. He went, Mighty Blow first, block first, Mighty Blow first, block first, Mighty Blow first, block first, etc. So, a little bit of both worlds there. Only one rookie Saurus, which is good. So it means there's only two without block. So that's not too bad at all. Skinks are very homogenous. I like the little pyramid. They're in a nice order, though. I appreciate that. There's sidestep, diving tackle, sidestep, diving tackle, sidestep, nothing. Like, I really appreciate the sort of pyramid
his entire
you've made there.
Team is ordered by player type and secondary ordering SPP.
I'm a big fan.
So I think Vulpes is an orderly kind of guy.
He's doing this just to please me.
Well, it's working. Good looking team. Really close to being fully leveled up on the Saurus. Is this one a rookie, or has he just been... Yeah, this one's a rookie, so he lost a Saurus, it looks like.
The only thing you're really missing is like a super gross skink. Unfortunately, you haven't rolled doubles anywhere. Skinks tend to do the, sidestep, diving tackle, if they haven't rolled doubles, fired, or like sidestep sprint if they haven't rolled doubles, fired. Stuff like that. So like hopefully you get some doubles somewhere and you can grab yourself a really gross skink with like block or sure hands, or maybe a plus agi or plus movement one or something. But that's just like gravy at this point. Those are just like nice to haves.
Yeah, definitely. And like we were saying with the guard, the easiest solution to dealing with guard is to hit it, and if it's strength 5 you can't hit it, so
not easily.
That's why it's so good.
And why I like it on wrestle pieces too, like the blockers on Bretonians, because to remove the guard you have to hit it, and then if you hit them you're also falling over and you remove the assist anyway.
Doesn't matter. It's bad.
No, it's not. It's not bad.
MNG Painbow Dash really sucks for Morley. Thankfully, the important game for Morley is not this week, but next week. But he is block plus edgy, mighty blow. So very agile killer for the undead there.
Apple Jackhammer picked up 4 SPP in the last game he played, if I recall it correctly, but that's not a level, sadly. But Pinky Die is 1 Kaz or a Vanity Pass, an Agi 1 Vanity Pass away from leveling.
I did one of those today.
Yeah, you did. 1 SPP from leveling. So that's a good question. What do you take after you already have Mighty Blow and Guard?
Yeah, today in a playoff match, in a final playoff match, maybe? I did a Saurus handoff and throw in 1 turn with no reroll AMA.
At that point, you were already 3-0, and it was like turn 15 though. So like
it was 3-1.
Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Guard White. Opposite to what we saw in the Necro. Normally you'll see the white start with Mighty Blow or Tackle because you can pick up Guard on the mummies, but he didn't have Guard on both mummies at the start because of the movement mummy, so I think he picked up that white to make up for that, and it's fine because he's got the other one. He's got Agi and Mighty Blow. The only thing you're missing a little bit here is Tackle somewhere. Like, you'll probably want that on the whites. It's a pretty good team though. There's some good players. It's 1290 of Volpez, but it's also missing 150k from Painbow Dash currently.
But it is definitely like lean. I don't know that I'd like all 3 ghouls.
I do. I have 3 ghouls on my undead team for World Cup qualifiers. You don't necessarily need to field them all. Like, you can field 3 on offense, but maybe only 2 on defense or whatever. The thing that I really like is that he has like the meme fouling skeleton who's actually leveled up and rolled dirty player.
It's true. It's always
like,
nice.
Everybody always talks about like, you take 1 skeleton for fouling, but like every team you ever see either doesn't have the skeleton or the dirty player is on a zombie somewhere. But he's got the dirty player skeleton, and I appreciate you for that morally.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
morally
complaining about Twilight Slaughter because apparently he keeps hawking all his SPP, and I'm not surprised. At plus Agi, Blodge, Sure Hands, pretty nasty ball.
Yeah,
carrier.
He's going to be carrying and scoring a lot. That happens once you get a dedicated ball carrier. It's so tempting, right? It's so easy to keep the ball on them because it's really easy to pick it up on them, and then you want to keep it on them because it's hard to remove it from them. And then a lot of the times you'll end up in positions where it's like, well, I could try to hand off, or I could guarantee a score. So you just take the score, and then suddenly that player gets all your SPP.
Yep. Rox knows this experience. Rox.
Weeping Beaties knew that experience, but now he's dead.
Did Weeping Beaties have like 78 SPP?
Yeah.
I guess he was up there. It's true.
He had he had block, dodge, sure hands, and extra arms. Or no, 2 heads.
Wow, it's a good ball carrier.
But he's dead now.
I was going to say, Rox has a slightly better skill in that he's not dead.
Yeah. Yeah, like Morley said, 3 ghouls is fine. You just don't field the Agi one on defense, and you still have the 2 more mobile pieces. I like 3 ghouls. Like, almost every time you see like an undead sort of tournament-esque build, like NAF-style res tournament, almost all of them will have 3 ghouls. So I like it.
Fair enough. I stand corrected.
Let's see. Negrond, Nut Punchers, Squids.
At 1440, they must not have been too battered. Yeah, they're looking okay.
They took a bunch of injuries last game, but none of them must have been perms,
yeah.
really. There's a niggle on a lineman and a movement bust on a lineman, but I think that movement bust has been around for a long time, and we keep saying fire it, and he never does. Yeah, he's got 10 matches, so...
I mean, I'd fire the niggled kick. No, you keep the kick until you leveled another one, but the movement bust dodge player, whatever, you can keep him.
The Agi Witch Elf is good. He had an Agi Blitzer, I think, somewhere, but I feel like he's dead now.
He did, yes. And Cock Rip Dong Smash leveled up to get Mighty Blow.
Favorite player?
Same time, so he is. Every time I look at this team, I have to say Cock Rip Dong Smash because...
And the fact that he leveled up and got Mighty Blow to do more Dong Smashing is perfect.
Smashes dongs with the best of them. I'm surprised this doesn't have any tackle. He's got a lot of skills and no tackle, which is not super standard. Usually a blitzer. I would have expected Maggot Meat to get.
Yeah, it's a wide
but...
Dark Elf team. He's got one skill on a lot of people, but not multiples on really anybody other than the Maggot Meat and Nami Nomi,
who is admittedly a disgusting player at plus agi and block.
That's a good Witch Elf. And this is and Maggot Meat is good too in Blodge Strip. I mean, like you said, Tackle is probably more common there, but it depends on who you're facing, I guess. Another Blodge and a Block Mighty Blow, which is perfect. You would love to roll doubles on blitzers so you can pick up Mighty Blow or Guard or something.
Or both if you can.
Yeah.
Ideally not in the same player, but
yeah. Yes. Kick, wrestle, dodge, dodge. Basic, pretty standard line elf stuff. You'll see kick, wrestle, or dodge, or sometimes block on Dark Elf linemen, and he has 3 of those.
And then we have
still only 2 rerolls though. We've been talking about that for a while.
Well, because he had a bit of a death spiral early season, and Dark Elf positionals are incredibly expensive. That said, I think he has picked up this Witch Elf since then.
And he's also picked up a Blitzer since then because he only had 3 for a while.
I understand prioritizing the Blitzer. I do not agree with prioritizing the Witch Elf. Witch Elves are a little more unreliable than Blitzers, and you do need that 3rd reroll.
I think I would have taken the 3rd reroll over the 2nd Witch Elf.
Yes,
but that's 100%. Fine. It can still work out.
Yeah, I mean he's mostly doing a development season, so he's kind of taken a risk here.
He's recovered well. He was like you said, he entered a death spiral pretty early in the season and is pulled out of that nosedive certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Broken Boys, the Khemri.
Speaking of death spirals and Tomb Guardians, he has all 4 again. I think he was down to 3 last time we looked at it.
No, he had all 4, but he only had development on 1 Tomb Guardian. He had 1 Tomb Guardian that had picked up both Mighty Blow and Guard, and none of the other ones had any SPP, and then that Tomb Guardian died.
As I recall, on a both down block he initiated. Yes.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate.
Stings.
But he's got at least A level on a Tomb Guardian now. Picked up Mighty Blow on Ptah Mekis, which should help him accelerate a little bit to that 2nd level. He's only 5 away, where he can pick up Guard or something and be extra annoying.
Probably Guard, yeah.
The real star players of this team, though, are the 2 Mighty Blow Tackle Blitzras and the Agi Throw Raw, for that matter. Those are the players that are the biggest deal on this team. Those the Movement 6, the Block, the Mighty Blow, and the Tackle are going to make a that's who he's hitting people with, and it's clearly working.
Yeah, any Agi 3 on Khemri is a godsend. Having Agi 3 on a goddamn Throw Raw is just perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I got Agi 3 on a skeleton, and I used him as a ball carrier for the rest of the season over the Throw Raws, just because Agi 3 is so good for Khemri.
For sure. And then we have Liverful, Razor Sharp, who has subbed in and is in chat. And lost to a 6+ Orc pass.
There's a Tackle skeleton, which is fine. You already have Tackle on the Blitzras, so I maybe would have considered just another dirty player, because Khemri, skeletons, fouls, removals, you can win games just on the back of fouling with skeletons. So I would have considered maybe a 2nd dirty player instead of a 3rd Tackle there, but that's the only real criticism I think I would think of.
Yeah, and he just wanted more variety, I guess.
Guard! Moving on.
Yeah. I mean, again, plus strength runner, well on his way to the dwarven nonsense we saw today.
Yeah, plus strength is... It's such a good thing, especially on runners.
Cheating on dwarves, yes.
Yeah. On runners too is surprisingly good, because not only on offense does that make him a lot safer. Strength on your ball carrier seems weird initially, because it's he's not going to be hitting stuff that much, but the point is now he's way harder to knock down and way harder to remove the ball from. And that's just on offense. On defense, now you have your fastest player, your only movement 6 player, is now also strength 4 block, so he can basically solo 2-die most people if they happen to break away from your dwarves, which a lot of people will do, right? Because you're so slow as dwarves that if people can get their ball carrier free and run down the side without a whole lot of protection, it's something that people will often do versus dwarves, just because they can out movement you so hard. But and then it can be hard for dwarves to get a 2-die on that ball carrier because you've got to get a guard piece or an assist in there somewhere, and they're all slow. But strength 4, movement 6 means you just have that sort of natural on defense, someone to chase down those kind of players, like your natural sort of safety player.
Yep, real good piece. Dodge on a Troll Slayer. We were talking about this on FD's team. It's a bit unusual as a first pickup. You will often go jump up because they are natural piling on players. So,
although it's his first skill, like even before Mighty Blow, so he could always just sort of dedicate him to a surfer instead of a killer. So like dodge first is fine. If he had already picked up Mighty Blow, I think at that point you say, yeah, it's jump up 100% of the time. But as your very first skill, I think dodge is okay, because now you can go like Juggernaut or whatever and start making him like a dedicated surfer rather than a dedicated like piling on killer type player, and you can make the other Troll Slayer into the killer.
It's true. It does. And the nice thing about picking up dodge, I will say, is that dodge is the sort of skill that gets better the more of your team that has it. So spamming it as doubles when you get it on Longbeards and things like that is also really nice to have Blodge maybe stand firm.
Blodge guard, yeah. Blodge guard is good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so I think in some there's a debate between dodge and jump up on the Troll Slayers there, but I think since it's the very first skill, it's okay. If you already had Mighty Blow, I think I would have taken jump up, but since it's the first one, dodge is good. And I think Razor Sharp is agreeing with me in that I read his mind, and that's probably the reasoning behind it. Like you take like Juggernaut or something next, and you start surfing people with him.
Well, fair enough. And then we have the Bretonnian team, who subbed very late into the season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they've got some crazy good development. They've got a plus Agi and a plus Strength Blitzer.
Skills. And to go along with that plus Agi Blitzer, he also has a Pass Blitzer.
Well, they have passing access automatically. But
I know, but I'm saying like now you have a receiver and you have a thrower.
But you know what they don't have? Strength access. So this Mighty Blow is also a double. So his Blitzers roll like champs.
Yeah, well, other than the pass guy, I guess. But 3 for 4 ain't bad. So that's really good. The Mighty Blow is huge because the Mighty Blow is the big skill you want there to make him a killer. So that's real, because you can get tackled easily enough. That's a normal, that kind of stuff. If you roll more doubles, you can always like take piling on or whatever, because they're movement 7, so it's being on the floor isn't the worst thing in the world as long as you use it safely. And he's got an annoying blitzer who at this point probably does blitzes, but also ball carrying, just because block strength 4 is hard to knock over. If you can roll another double, guard would be amazing on him, but that requires another double.
Yep. But yeah, really solid early development.
Yep.
He's got
wrestle
a
tackle, wrestle
movement.
tackle.
Yep. If you say the words wrestle and guard in the same sentence, I am leaving the stream.
He has wrestle and guard. Guard is good.
Don't say it. The minus movement blocker is a bit of a shame. Bretonnians do like to flex their movement 6, movement 7. They're a little fast for a punchy team. But still not terrible, not a deal breaker. You probably look to replace him eventually, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's not about the wrestle and guard. It's the fact that those are the only strength access on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely get guard in these pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like really solid early development. Like we said, the blitzers are disgusting, and they're the star players of this team. So to have so many developing, and the strength that they have is that they have really wide skill access in GAP, so they can do a bit of all of like the little kind of any of the agility passing stuff they can kind of be built to do. Anytime you roll a double for strength access stuff is just gravy. So
yeah, the only downside to them is that they're Agi 3 instead of Agi 4 with agility passing access. So yeah, you can play a passing game with them, but you can't play like a long passing game very well with them.
Plus Agi, it's fine.
Yeah, well, that was the next point, is that it makes it a lot easier when you get plus Agi. So like, unfortunately that seemed to happen. I would imagine that happened after the pass skill, because you'd like to make the Agi guy your thrower. But that's okay. Yeah, that's the only, like, so you often see Bretonnians play like a short passing style, like they'll move all the blitzers up together and they can pass it off between them and like, do slightly longer range handoffs, as it were.
Well, they have catch too, so what you can do is you can move the ball, 21 plus squares by doing a handoff and a pass that's very reliable because of the 2 built-in rerolls on the catch, and apparently now the built-in reroll on the pass. So
yeah, you just can't do long passes very, very well because of the Agi 3. So they'll often play short pass style, but that's still really good when there's 4 of them. He's got kick on a lineman, which is great. The downside is if you don't have a bench on Bretonnians, you'll only have 3 linemen, so that kick isn't useful. So as long as you have that kick, you need to make sure that you have a bench going forward, which is something you want to do as Bretonnians anyway, because if you have 40k linemen, have a bench so you can foul with your 40k linemen.
If you're not kicking someone with a peasant every turn, you're not doing it right.
Maybe not next game, because he'll only have 11 players. But in most games,
you'll want 130k. I'd get some bench here.
Well, he has a bench normally. He's just got an MNG player.
I like 2 bench, at least with Bretts. I mean, they have 40k linemen that are AV7. They're going to sustain some damage.
And any team with 40k linemen, like that aren't something silly like Goblins or whatever, 2 bench is probably what I would run. Like I run 2 bench on my Nurgle team with the 40k Rotters.
And then we have
Warpfire Stalkers.
You wanted to say more? Yep. I wasn't sure if we were transitioning at the same time. We've been off tonight.
Yeah, well, we're both tired.
We are very much. A plus Agi Skaven lineman. That's really nice. It's kind of like a pseudo gutter runner with no skills, but strength 3. So
and slower.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not movement 9, but the Agi 4 is good. On this team where there is going to be a lot of sort of dodging, moving around, trying to position well. And less sort of punching. There's going to be some from the blitzers, obviously, but the Skaven lineman picking up the Agi 4 is really nice. It's not quite Agi 4 stunty, but it's also Agi 4 movement 7, so that's really good. The Skaven blitzer has horns, which is interesting.
You think you'd build them into Claw Mighty Blow immediately?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The
strength of Underworld is they don't need doubles for mutations, so you get really easy access to Claw Mighty Blow, to Goblins with horns, things like that.
Yeah, so horns is
2 heads Goblins,
it's like horns is fine. I think it's just like the 3rd or 4th skill you pick up on a Skaven blitzer, not the first one.
Yeah, I would go Claw, Mighty Blow, piling on.
Well, Mighty Blow, Claw.
Or what did I say?
Claw, Mighty Blow. Mighty Blow, Claw, piling on, or tackle, and then maybe horns.
Yeah.
But so horns is first is interesting. I guess he just wants that strength 4 more on the blitzes. Like it means you're dedicated to blitzing with that player basically every turn, or you're not getting the value out of it. So you're gonna have to be careful with that. But strength 4 is certainly useful. But like I said, you're dedicating yourself to blitzing with that.
I mean, the annoying thing is it's 12 out of 16 SPP. Mighty Blow would be perfect for getting that guy to claw real fast.
Yeah. So next you just take Mighty Blow and then claw. It's just slower, but should still work out fine.
Yep. I think 4 rerolls is a lot for Underworld. They don't really need them. They've got a lot of built-in 1 in 9 chances that they can't reroll anyway. So
yeah, 4 seems like a lot.
And especially because they're expensive at 70k each.
4 is a lot of rerolls for basically any team other than like Vamps.
Vamps, Kislevs, Ogres.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's it. I'm trying to think of the other stunties.
I mean, well, Halflings, but they just get a chef every turn, so they don't care. My Halfling team has 1 because I just steal yours. I don't need my own rerolls. I'll take yours, thanks. The Skaven Thrower has picked up Nerves of Steel, which is kind of cool because now he can throw from tackle zones easily. So if he wants to go or catch in tackle zones, but I imagine he's probably throwing. So if he wants to, he could go like Big Hand or something, because mutation, and then just run into tackle zones, pick up that ball, and throw it without any worry about the tackle zones nearby, which is kind of fun.
The problem is he can't dodge into tackle zones, but yeah, other than that, he's a really good receiver. And then throw him to the Agi 4 lineman, who then runs away with his movement 7.
Yeah, so it could be interesting if he gets more SPP and builds it to get dodge and like Big Hand or 2 heads and Big Hand or something, where he can just sort of like, hey, look, that ball's in your tackle zone. Never mind, it doesn't matter. I'll just pick it up and throw it to someone else. I don't care that you're there.
Yep, cool looking team. Not the development I would have picked, but still An interesting idea.
Every time I see Underworld, it makes me want to play them, just because so much like cool mutation stuff. I think it would be fun.
Spoilers: they're filled with sadness.
Oh, I mean, they're not considered a stunty team for a reason. They're not a bad team by any stretch.
No, but they are like tier.
They're hard to play. They're hard to play really well. But they look like they'd be so much fun.
I think they're probably tier 2.5, and they move up to tier 2 after they get some Claw Mighty Blow.
Yeah, mutations make a surprising amount of difference.
Yeah, I mean the biggest downside is they don't get gutter runners compared to Skaven.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what matches are coming up this week. I agree with Hilo in that they are a team that you want to keep your TV to a minimum to the best of your ability, and you just want to be efficient with the TV, and you can be efficient with TV when you have mutation access generally, because mutations can give you some cool stuff like Claw.
No, normals, yeah. So you can do cool things like have a Sacker Goblin that is, Horns Wrestle, or no, it can't get Wrestle because that's a double. But Horns, 2 heads, something like that can get a 2-die or a 1-die at least on most ball carriers with some assists.
Yeah, you get your Claw Mighty Blow Blitzer, and then you don't really care anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they look, and the animations are awesome, and the teams look sweet. There's nothing better in the game than a Tentacles Underworld Troll. The models are amazing. Like the Underworld just are a cool team in general.
That's true. I will pick them up at some point. Necro and Nut Punchers versus the Warp Fire Stalkers. No Mighty Blow, no Claw. I give this to the Dark Elves.
Yeah. There's also Mighty Blow on behalf of Cockrip Dong Smash.
I like the way you said it, rip, like you rolled it a bit.
Cockrip Dong Smash. So I'm gonna give that to. I'm gonna give that to those.
Incredibly tired.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna give that to the Dark Elves. Before we see the results, do you predict Liverpool or the bye week?
The bye week.
Well, you're wrong.
50-50. God damn it.
Liverpool. We predict Liverpool to win, considering it's already happened against the bye week. The Broken Boys versus Archangel's Will. The Wood Elves versus Khemri here. So on behalf of the Khemri, there are several tackle. We've seen what...
There are several tackle, but there is a Mighty Blow War Dancer who can cause a lot of attrition versus Khemri. Yep. And the Khemri don't really care about your Strength 5 non-Mighty Blow having Tomb Guardians. They're just going to ignore them.
Yeah, the Blitzraws are certainly going to be able to do work, but they're like the only players in your team that are even relevant, really, against the Wood Elves.
At least you have Sure Hands versus Drizzt.
That's true.
That's going to help a bit.
The Agi 3 Sure Hands is a big deal.
It is. But I still want to give this to the Wood Elves. That's what my gut says.
Yeah, my gut says Wood Elves too. We've seen what the Broken Boys can do against Agi teams. Like, they beat the Skaven, but then again, Skaven and Wood Elves are sort of two entirely different animals, despite being roughly the kind of same idea in a way. And I think I want to give this to the Wood Elves as well. I just think that too many of your players aren't going to help that much. Like, it's a hard matchup for Khemri, and you've only got really 2 players that are, like, you got 3 star players, including the Throw Raw, and then almost everyone else in your team is like entirely irrelevant for the matchup.
The good news is one of the ways that Khemri loses this match on like turn 1, turn 2 is failing the 1 in 4 pickup that they normally have to make, and the Wood Elves just grab the ball and run away. At least it's a 1 in 9 now, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Agi Up does help. It's gonna. If he does win, he will win on the back of Agi Up and those Blitzrows for sure.
Yeah.
And then it's Chew Toys versus Friendship is Massacre.
Yeah, I'm still like sort of conflicted on that game. Like, I think my gut says I have to go Wood Elves, but like I can't imagine a situation in like where it's a tie. I can imagine a situation in where the Broken Boys win, but I think like if this game is played 10 times, like more often than not, the Wood Elves win it. So I think I have to go for Wood Elves.
Yep. Friendship is Massacre versus the Chew Toys. The Undead have to take this. There's no werewolves, or at best a rookie werewolf. Not a lot of skills on the Chew Toys side of things, so they're kind of just a worse Undead team right now. And Friendshipper's Massacre has a lot of elfy undead nonsense.
If that werewolf was alive, or not if he was actually available for the game with the Claw Mighty Blow block, I think it would be closer, because that's the big strength of Necro. But without Necro, yeah, like you said, it's just undead, but kind of worse without the wolves. So let's curse morally again and give this to him. Does not knockers get a bye, as we talked about. And then we have a big match. One cheese and Komodo Killers. Less big now, because I think with the buys for the Orcs, one cheese can't actually make it to the playoff finals. But if Lizards want to remain competitive with the Orcs, they have to win, because the Orcs get 2 free wins coming up. The Orcs.
Yep, he has to win every match moving forward.
Yeah, Just Not Knockers have 2 buys coming up, so they will absolutely finish no matter what. 10-3-0. So in order to win the division, Lizardmen will also have to finish 10-3-0. But then they will win because they have better TD differential. So, and that 4-0 win certainly helps that their case there. But they have to win their next 2 games. So this is a must win for the Komodo Killers.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a tough one. Rats are kind of a hard matchup for Lizards. If they can get into the cage, the Skinks cannot hold onto the ball. They have no skills for fighting off the 1 die from a Gutter Runner with Strip Ball and Wrestle. It's kind of going to be a question of, like, can Vulpes protect his stuff long enough and cause enough attrition with his Mighty Blow pieces while the Rats try to run up the score.
Yeah, there's no tackle on the side of the Komodo Killers, but it's also really easy for Saurus to get 3 die on Gutter Runners.
3 die still only 40% without tackle.
Yeah, but 40% is better than like 20%.
Truth.
There's only 2 Mighty Blow, no tackle. Skinks that aren't super developed for being able to deal with Gutter Runners. The diving tackle might actually be really annoying on the Gutter Runners.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to give him a wizard.
You also don't need a bench versus.
No,
I mean, as long as you're doing a good job protecting your. So it's not actually that easy for the Storm Vermin to get at your Skinks, because you can control the pitch well enough that Agi 3 doesn't have an easy time getting in. You shouldn't suffer much attrition.
If you are careful in like, the Storm Vermin are skink killing machines, but that's only if they can get there. So as long as you're careful with protecting your Skinks, you should go up in the attrition game, because you're more likely to remove Armor 7 Line Rats with Loner than he is to remove Saurus with, Armor 7 Line Rats with Loner, than he is to remove your Armor 9 Saurus, even with Mighty Blow, because you have Mighty Blow as well. The
wizard is going to be a big problem, because the wizard denies basically a lizard score and maybe gives the rats one.
Rats are still need 150k of loners, so that's 1220, and the Komodo Killers are 1490. Yeah, so that's still a wizard.
Way more than a wizard.
Oh, can he get Skitter? How much is Skitter stab? Is
that the stab Gutter Runner?
Well, the big thing, it doesn't matter that he's stabbed. The point is it's 5 Gutter Runners.
It's kind of like Slibbly. Oh, I mean, Slibbly is a 7th Saurus and also is amazing.
Yeah, the big part of Skitter is that it's 5 Gutter Runners, not the fact that it's stab.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough call, honestly.
Skitter is 160. No, it's definitely not going to be a tie. So it's a tough call. Like, this is really hard. If like, I think, yeah, a few early removal, if the Lizards can remove a few rats, it puts it in the Lizards' favor, but it has to be real removals, right? Because if it's just line rats, the Skaven can still win this with a couple Storm Vermin and some Gutter Runners.
Yeah, like, I don't actually want to call this, so I think we should just one of us takes one side, the other takes. Like, I think it's going to be a really close game. So
yeah. Oh man, I can't. Like, this is. I want to watch this on the one hand, and it's really hard. Like, I think Komodo Killers have a bit of an advantage in terms of like, I think he wants to win this game more because it matters for him. Right at this point, Rex Longbone can't make the playoffs, so he may not play as hard as Komodo Killers will in terms of like sort of the mental game, because Komodo Killers have a chance to go to the playoffs, so they want it more. So I think that is a factor that we like when we're coming down to that being a factor in deciding who's going to win this game. I think it's a pretty tight game.
Yeah, I'm going to call it for Vulpes, but yeah, like a very narrow margin.
Yeah, so I guess to make this spicy, I'm supposed to go for the other side, right?
It's up to you, man.
So I think I want Vulpes to win because I like exciting playoff races, and if he loses this, it's hog stench all the way, and it's hog stench on the back of 2 bye weeks, which is kind of boring. So I want Komodo Killers to win, but man, I think I'm supposed to make it spicy here and say one cheese, but I think I'm gonna go with the lizards. If my heart says lizards, so I have to go for it.
We have mulled on this. Crazy long time. CR Boys versus Bretonnians. That's actually a tough matchup for Wood Elves. Bretts have a lot of good tools for taking out Wood Elves.
Yeah, there's a couple of wrestle tackle players certainly, which is going to be annoying. They're not going to be able. They might have a hard time keeping up though.
Not really. Movement 6, movement 7 is not that much slower than Wood Elves.
But CR Boys also has the movement 9 runner, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's just one piece.
8. His movement is 8, 8, 8, 9, 7, 7, 7, 7, and 2. Like that's faster.
So the thing about Wood Elves though is that you're not running away from people, you're running past them. So your movement is good enough for outranging dwarfs, but it's not good enough for outranging movement 6 pieces usually, which is why humans are good at keeping up with them. And these are basically humans. So Bretts, this is a pretty good matchup for Bretts, especially as they do have a lot of that early tackle, and they do have a mighty blow piece to create attrition, and a player you're going to want to blitz with all the time. And the strength 4 isn't as important. You could carry on him to be annoying for the Wood Elves. The Wood Elves don't mind red dyeing with a script ball piece.
They're probably going to red dye anyway. Yeah. It's like, so the strength 4 is mostly irrelevant. The mighty blow piece is big. And that will probably do some work. The wrestle tackle and the wrestle tackle guard are both big.
They're really good at taking down Wood Elves, and then all you do is foul them, and then you win the game.
Yeah. So it's not as cut and dry as I think people would expect it to be. I'm
still going to give it to the Wood Elves, I think. The CR Boys' team is gross, but I think it's going to be a tough match for him.
Yeah, that's I think. You can't negate the power of the tree in this situation. There's not a whole lot of block on the side of the.
Oh, it's true. The strength 4 can 3-die dauntless. I always forget they have dauntless. You can 3-die or 3+ dauntless rather the tree.
That's true, but if the blitzers are stuck on the tree, then the tree is really happy.
Yeah.
You can't. There's wrestle, sure, and a lot of the times the linemen are going to be on the tree, but fend doesn't really matter there because if the tree doesn't follow, that's fine because the tree can go other places. But you have the tree to anchor around, I think, which is going to make a difference. So you can.
Yeah, I mean, in any peasant sitting on a block tree is not going to be there for very long.
No, armor 7. Yeah, once again, it's not as straightforward as I think a lot of people would call it, but I think I'm going to give this to the Wood Elves as well. Cool. But this is tighter. Like the last couple matches, I think could easily go either way. But since we're playing this game and I have to pick one, and I want to try to win the game, I'll pick Wood Elves. Yeah. So that's that. As we've seen the. Leaderboard here, the Snot-Knockers are going to finish 10-3-0, so they are likely to be first unless Komodo Killers wins both of their next 2 games, which are against One Cheese, who is certainly a good player. So that's a hard one for you to win. Not impossible, and we've certainly predicted you to win that game. So we think you have. It's clear we think you have the advantage. So good luck in that one. And then you'll need to win your last match as well, which is Why Can't I See You? Friendship is Massacre. Ooh, that'll be a good one too. and Komodo Killers are going to have to win. Both people that show up a lot to watch these streams, so it's going to be hard for us to pick one or the other. But that's another must-win game for Volpez when we take a look at it next week. That's us. We'll be back next Wednesday.
I won't.
Oh, well, I'll be back next Wednesday. I'll see if I can find someone to fill in, but it might just be me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. My hair is still a bird. I've been Steakmittens. And
I'm really fucking tired.